Oh, just when Meghan Markle thought the storm had finally passed, guess what? The skies opened up again, darker and louder than ever. Meghan must have been breathing a sigh of relief, thinking Samantha Markle's lawsuits were limited to bitter sibling drama. But no, her half-sister has pulled out another shocking card. And this time, it's not just Meghan in the firing line. Prince Harry himself has been dragged into the mess. Yes, you heard that right. Samantha isn't holding back anymore. She's going straight for Harry, aiming her arrows at the Duke of Sussex himself. And here's the tea. This isn't some desperate, end-of-the-road stunt. Insiders say it's cold, calculated, and downright ruthless. For the very first time since this family feud turned legal, Harry is now a named defendant in what's being described as an expanded defamation lawsuit. Think about that for a second. Until now, Harry was kind of on the sidelines of this battle, always the supportive husband standing by Meghan, not really the one under legal attack. But now, Samantha's team claims Harry wasn't just an innocent bystander. Nope. According to them, he was an active player in what they're calling a full-on campaign to destroy Samantha's reputation. And here's where it gets juicy. Legal experts are whispering that going after both Meghan and Harry together is a genius move. Why? Because when you sue one person, it's just their word against yours. But when you sue a couple, especially a couple who've made their entire post-royal brand about joint interviews, shared documentaries, and presenting a united front, you can spin it as a conspiracy, a coordinated mission. Suddenly, the stakes are sky high and the damage looks 10 times worse. Word is, Samantha's attorneys have been digging deep, combing through every joint appearance, every interview, every single time Harry nodded along or added his voice to Meghan's stories about their family. And trust me, they're not just pointing fingers at Meghan anymore. They're building a case that Harry's nods, his words, and even his royal status gave Meghan's claims extra weight, more credibility, and yes, more potential for harm. Can you imagine how Harry must be feeling right now? He spent years trying to shield Meghan, always jumping to her defense, always adding his royal gravitas to her words. But now, those very protective instincts are being twisted into something dangerous. Every single time he backed her up, every time he nodded, every time he lent his Prince Harry credibility, it's now being painted as legal liability. And let's not forget the palace. Oh, the palace insiders are reportedly watching this with wide eyes and clenched jaws, because dragging Harry directly into this doesn't just mean more courtroom drama. It means more royal secrets could spill out in discovery. And let's face it, when you sue a prince, the legal floodgates swing wide open. Imagine the potential embarrassment for the firm, but here's where it really starts to sting. By naming both Meghan and Harry as defendants, Samantha's legal team can argue that it wasn't just one person speaking out of personal pain. It was a couple, two people with massive global platforms, working together to paint her as the villain. That's way more powerful than just Meghan said it. And of course, the money. Oh yes, the money is where this gets really ugly. Suing both of them means Samantha's potentially tapping into two separate income streams. Meghan's deals, Harry's inheritance, his book royalties, his speaking gigs, their joint Netflix empire. All of it could be on the table if Samantha wins. This isn't just about family pride anymore. It's about millions. And let's not forget where all this mess started, the Oprah interview in 2021. That bombshell conversation reached millions, maybe hundreds of millions worldwide. And in it, Meghan downplayed Samantha's role in her life, painting her as practically a stranger who only reclaimed the Markle name when Meghan started dating Harry. Samantha's team says that wasn't just a throwaway line, it was a calculated strike to strip her legitimacy as family. But here's the kicker. Harry was sitting right there, nodding along, adding in his little comments, validating Meghan's every word. Legal experts are saying his very presence, his agreement, gave Meghan's claims extra weight. Because when a prince co-signs a story, people believe it, and Oprah was only the beginning. The Netflix docuseries, 6 whole episodes, was like Samantha's legal goldmine. Both Harry and Meghan spoke, both built a narrative, both laid out their truth. And Samantha, she was painted as a fame-seeking opportunist, someone who latched onto Meghan's rising star for her own gain. Now Samantha's lawyers are saying this wasn't just Meghan venting, it was a coordinated production, stamped with Harry's royal seal of approval.
Think about it. Millions watched the Netflix series. Millions saw Meghan say she grew up as an only child, implying Samantha barely existed in her world. Millions saw Harry back her up, reinforcing her every claim. This wasn't gossip whispered at a dinner table. This was global broadcast. And now, Samantha's team is building the argument that the damage wasn't just deep, it was international. And let me tell you, the legal term they're leaning on is devastating: amplification. Samantha's team says Harry didn't just support Meghan, he amplified her words. He repeated them. He added his own details. He used phrases like, "we saw" and "we experienced" instead of "Meghan saw" or "Meghan experienced." Suddenly, Meghan's story becomes their story, their truth, a unified testimony. And legally, that's dynamite. Because Harry isn't just a husband, he's a prince. His words don't carry the weight of just any spouse. They carry international credibility, global influence. And when he co-signed Meghan's narrative, it wasn't just Meghan's voice tearing Samantha down, it was the Duke and Duchess of Sussex together, dismantling her reputation. And here's where things get downright chilling. Samantha's legal team isn't just nitpicking over a few careless lines. No, they're pulling together a pattern, a long, deliberate chain of interviews, documentaries, and appearances that all tell the same damaging story. According to them, this wasn't just Meghan sharing her version of events. It was Meghan and Harry together, systematically tearing Samantha down piece by piece on the biggest stages in the world. And the reach? Oh, honey, it's astronomical. The Oprah interview? Over 17 million people watched it live in the US alone, with global audiences skyrocketing into the hundreds of millions. The Netflix series? One of the platform's most watched shows. We're not talking small-town whispers. We're talking global distribution. Samantha's lawyers are already salivating at the thought of pointing this out to a jury, because when defamation is broadcast worldwide, the damages multiply tenfold. But Samantha's team isn't stopping at what was said. They're also focusing on what was implied. When Meghan said she grew up essentially as an only child, she didn't just describe her own feelings, she effectively erased Samantha's existence. When Harry nodded along, when he reinforced Meghan's framing of family dysfunction, when they both painted Samantha as the antagonistic sister, those weren't just words, they were a calculated narrative. Legal insiders are calling it the amplification liability precedent. Basically, if Samantha wins, it won't just mean Meghan's words got her sued. It'll mean Harry's simple act of nodding, agreeing, or saying we instead of she makes him just as guilty. That means in the future, celebrity couples everywhere could be at risk. Imagine that. Your spouse vents in an interview, you agree a little too strongly, and suddenly you're both dragged into court. Terrifying, right? Talk show hosts, podcasters, even documentary filmmakers are already whispering about this. If the courts say Harry can be held equally responsible simply for backing up Meghan, then the rules of the celebrity interview game change forever. No more united fronts. No more couple interviews where both halves nod along, finishing each other's sentences. Because guess what? That solidarity could now land you in court. PR experts are reportedly scrambling. The old strategy, present a united front, back up your partner no matter what, suddenly looks like a legal death trap. Some insiders are even saying celebrity couples may need separate lawyers before they go on TV together. Can you imagine? Lawyers drafting scripts for husband and wife interviews just to avoid defamation risks? Wild. And memoirs. Oh, honey, the publishing world is sweating too. Meghan had her Spotify podcast, Harry had Spare, and there's always talk of more memoirs in the pipeline. But what publisher is going to gamble millions on a book if there's a chance it'll spark a lawsuit from an angry relative claiming defamation? Add in the risk of spouses being pulled in as co-defendants, and suddenly celebrity memoirs look like legal landmines. But here's where it gets even more dangerous for Meghan and Harry, the psychological optics. Their entire post-royal brand has been built on the idea that they're the truth tellers, the survivors, the ones who broke free from an oppressive institution to share their story. They've marketed themselves as the brave couple who dared to tell the world what really went on behind palace doors. But if Samantha convinces a court that their truth was actually a carefully coordinated campaign of lies, oh darling, that brand doesn't just take a hit, it implodes. They stop being seen as courageous whistleblowers and start being seen as manipulative fabulists who destroyed family members to make themselves look good. That kind of stain doesn't wash off, and the entertainment industry knows it. Sources say Netflix in particular is extremely nervous. They poured millions into that docuseries, presenting Harry and Meghan as credible narrators of their own lives. If the lawsuit exposes those stories as false or malicious, Netflix looks complicit. Executives are reportedly whispering that any new projects with the couple might quietly be shelved until this lawsuit is resolved. Hollywood casting directors, too, are said to be wary. Meghan's rumored acting comeback? At risk. Harry's growing role in media and philanthropy? Jeopardized. Because let's be real, no studio, no producer, no brand wants to gamble on celebrities who are facing defamation trials. The risk of bad headlines is just too high. And the palace? Oh, you can practically hear the gnashing of teeth behind closed doors. Senior royals, according to insiders, are horrified that Harry's direct involvement could drag their private world into the spotlight. Imagine if legal discovery demands emails, texts, or memos involving other royals. Imagine if private conversations between Harry, Meghan, and the palace somehow get dragged into evidence. Palace lawyers must be losing sleep at the thought of it. But what's worse? Testimony. If this goes to trial, Harry and Meghan could be forced to testify under oath. That means hours of cross-examination about what they said, what they meant, what they coordinated. Picture the headlines. Prince Harry
Harry grilled in court over lies about his sister-in-law. For the monarchy, it would be catastrophic PR. And here's the delicious irony. Palace sources are reportedly secretly relieved that Harry and Meghan stepped back as working royals. Why? Because if Harry were still an active royal, this lawsuit could drag the monarchy itself into dangerous legal territory. Now at least it's just Harry and Meghan on the hook, not the crown. Still, the reputational fallout for the royal family could be massive. Meanwhile, Samantha's legal team is said to be savoring every second of this. By targeting both Harry and Meghan, they've doubled the pressure, doubled the stakes, and doubled the chances of a big payout. And don't forget, joint defendants create cracks. If Harry and Meghan's defenses don't align perfectly, if their testimonies contradict, if their strategies clash, Samantha's lawyers can exploit that. Divide and conquer. And let's talk money again, because this is where things get jaw-dropping. Legal experts are whispering that Samantha's team could go after not just lost income or therapy bills, but tens of millions in punitive damages. Why? To send a message. To make Harry and Meghan an example. When you've got defendants worth a fortune, punitive damages have to hit hard enough to actually hurt. And if they're held jointly liable, either one of them could be forced to pay the entire sum if the other can't. Can you picture it? Harry's inheritance from Princess Diana, his book deal money, Meghan's Netflix paychecks, their multi-million-dollar Montecito mansion, all potentially at risk if Samantha wins big. And remember, even if Meghan and Harry win, the legal fees alone could drain millions over the years this case might drag on. And here's the ultimate sting. Samantha's lawsuit might succeed in doing what the palace, the press, and public critics never could, silencing Meghan and Harry's control of the narrative. If they're under constant legal threat every time they try to tell their story, their brand as truth-tellers is shattered. Imagine them gagged, muzzled, unable to cash in on their personal drama anymore. For two people who built their empire on speaking out, that's the cruelest cut of all.